And welcome back to, well, I mean, we're in the last bits of the week who would win. It's the end of the month, so I usually carry it out till the end of the month when we go past the normal week. This one came to us from, I think it's Lifer a Game or Life a Game, something like that. Who asked the question, who won a fight, Naruto or Omni Man? You know, this is one of those fights that I considered putting in the speed round, but when I thought about it, it's nowhere near as clear cut and dry as I initially thought. Omni-Man, obviously, if you've watched the Invincible series, you'd have the base understanding of who Omni-Man is. If you've actually read the comics, you'd have a greater understanding. But in essence, he is a species of being called a Viltrumite. In essence, a Kryptonian clone in another comic universe. And they're kind of, as I heard, as Deathbell kind of described it, they're kind of like a blend of a Kryptonian and a Saiyan, where they're a warrior race. They're bred to conquer, and that's what they kind of do. And they infiltrate. They live for thousands of years. They go stronger as they get older. And that's kind of it. Omni-Man, or I believe it's Nolan Grayson as his Earth handle is kind of one of the main characters of the entire Invincible series. He is a Superman clone, and therefore he has all the general abilities a Superman clone has: durability, speed, strength, endurance, flight, capable of surviving in space. Unlike most of them, though, he does not have heat vision. Just doesn't have it. But he makes up for that by being also extremely old and having centuries worth of combat experience under his belt. Naruto Uzumaki. We already know Naruto Uzumaki, but born to the fourth Hokage, Kushina Uzumaki, he was chosen to be the container of the Nine Tails when it was unleashed upon the village. He struggled and trained and ultimately became the Hokage, married the woman of his dreams, had kids, and then had a show where he kind of had to play second fiddle to a little bit and still showed up as the main character, aka his son. I'm not a Boruto fan, obviously, but when talking about these two, it's really just let's just compare stats. I think that's a good way to go about it in this case. And if you go to and I'm on this right now, if you go to say like Omni-Man stat feats or strength feats, you can go to Reddit and basically someone has kind of given an overall level of strength on him. I mean, Omni-Man, strength-wise, he's capable of doing a lot of the Superman-level feats. Some of his most impressive ones are throwing catching and throwing a tank. I believe there was one moment that was said he destroyed a meteor that was I think the size of Texas. I could be a little wrong on that one though. But he's apparently capable of lifting within excess of 100 tons. He, along with a couple other Viltrumites, were able to literally blow up the planet Viltrum. So he's got planet-busting feats, but it was with the aid of other Viltrumites. He is capable of through machinery like it's butter. He was easily capable of going exchanging blows with Mark himself, who ultimately does surpass his father. Spoilers in the actual series. And strength-wise, he is a monster in terms of strength. Naruto doesn't have a lot of physical strength feats. Let's be honest. In terms of most of these physical feats, Omni-Man's going to not just edge out Naruto, he's going to overwhelm Naruto. Strength-wise, Naruto does not have that kind of strength on call most of the time. If we add Kurama's chakra in there, remember, we're talking strength, not level of power, not abilities, not destructive capabilities, just physical strength. Because I know I'm going to get someone, if I don't mention that, saying, it's like, no, Naruto's stronger because of this. It's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Even with Kurama, say, enhancing or going into the full Nine-Tailed Fox mode, they're probably at that point comparable, because the strongest feat we have, I think, for Kurama, at least from what was shown in the series, including the movies and Boruto, at least the movies that are canon, it's him fighting the giant rock golem on the moon in the Naruto last movie, if I'm not mistaken. And even then, they were kind of roughly on par. So I guess, I mean, if you're using all of Kurama's strength, then maybe he can edge out Omni-Man, but that might be being a little generous. I would say that they're probably, when going all out, Kurama and all that, they're probably relative to each other. One might have the edge over the other, but it's not enough that I could really argue one way or the other. If we're talking durability feats, I mean, Nolan is capable of literally flying in and out of the Earth, of a planet's atmosphere at top speeds without any difficulty. He's capable of taking massive amounts of attacks, including exchanging blows with other enhanced Viltrumites who are easily as strong, if not sometimes stronger than him. he is capable of basically taking most Bell's explosions. His house blew up in the show. He just walked it off. Yeah, what was it? The Red Streak was the name of the speedster, who's their version of the Flash. Where's that speed that said that mentioned that character? Slaughtered Guardians of Glove. Red Rush. Red Rush is their equivalent of the Flash, who literally is perceiving time much slower than us. That's how fast he is. And he was faster than Nolan. Nolan had the reflexes to finally catch him. I think it was a combination of reflexes and proper training to catch him and ultimately killed him. But the guy was moving so fast, he was hurting Nolan. So where his speed lies is difficult to say. But we'll talk about speed in a second. We're talking about more durability and endurance. And I say that because that was hurting him, and he kept going. Bolsheviks can take a lot of damage and keep on fighting. He's literally been torn near in half and come back because of the level of healing those guys have. And like Saiyans, they get a Zenkai boost, basically. So there is that feat. And then I always go with the whole him lighting a planet's atmosphere ablaze just by flying at high octane speeds. Not only is that a speed feat, that's a durability feat because his body has to be able to survive that. Again, if we're just talking about Naruto without the aid of Kurama, and if we're talking peak Naruto, and this fight we'll use Barry and Naruto, obviously, but we're talking about just his normal body's durability. I mean, he's maybe more durable than the average person, but by all accounts, most humans in Naruto are humans in terms of durability. They just got the aid of chakra and ninjutsu most of the time. If we're talking with the aid of Kurama's chakra, well, now you're talking about him being able to cloak himself in the chakra, and if he needs to go into the full Kurama mode, which would probably be the most durable form he has. And now you're talking about someone who might actually be able to edge out Omni-Man in durability, because he is a chakra construct at that point, especially in Ninetales mode. It's difficult to gauge how much damage he could take, because we never really saw much of how much damage he could take. I mean, if you think of that, every time he was in that form, he either got the aid of Sasuke to help bolster him even further, or we just never saw the full extent of that. If we take that out of the equation, Naruto was still able to take hits from individuals like Madara, Kaguya to a degree, Toneri, Tsuki, the villain from the last, and then Momoshiki in that fight as well. And all those guys do have planetary level threats on some level. Madara can't really do an attack from what we could see that would destroy the planet, but he was still a planetary level threat in a different means. Kaguya had dimension warping capabilities, so that was arguably, you could make an argument for Kaguya on that. Toneri literally split the moon in half, so that's not a question. I've come around these days on the whole Naruto. People used to argue with me, and I used to argue back. I was like, no, he's not. But I have come around on the whole Naruto being a planetary level threat. He's a low planetary level threat. Let's be very clear about that. He's, like, for instance, if he used every bit of power in Kurama's Tail Beast Ball, fired it at the Earth, would he blow the Earth up? Maybe? He could blow the moon up. I have no doubt in my mind he could blow the moon up. But granted, the moon is small compared to the Earth. It is a planetoid, but it's not a planet. Still, there are planets like small size of the moon, I guess. So I don't know. I would put him at very low planetary, at least extinction level, definitely. But what I'm trying to get at here is that power and durability wise, Naruto in Kurama's Ninetales mode might actually have more durability because he's an energy-based being at that point. Because Kurama's Tail Beast form is very unique compared to the other ones, where everyone else just turned into their Tail Beast as is. Gyuki turned into him, Shikaku, all of them. Kurama gets to have this cool Sage energy mode, which is very cool. Although we do see him later in that movie riding on the moon in just his normal form, so maybe that's just the form he chooses to take in combat. Because he is a being made of chakra, so maybe that's why he takes that form. It's like maybe the purest expression of his power. But then we have speed, and this is another one where it's very, very odd, because if we're talking about travel speed, Omni-Man's got the edge. Omni-Man can literally travel across galaxies and then come back in no time at all. Like, that's well beyond Naruto level of speed. But in combat, if we're talking about reaction speed, which is a different type of speed, in fact, your reaction speed is actually faster than your travel speed by a good margin because it's just immediate. As he jerks to represent. So Nolan was able to finally catch Red Rush off guard in their fight. And he was probably among the biggest threats on that team, that and Mr. Immortal. But he did it. It took him a while to do so. And as far as I can tell, Red Rush does not move at light speeds. You know what? I'm going to see how fast Red Rush is. 1 second. How fast is Red Rush invincible? Oh, good. That's an actual Google thing. Okay. So he can move well over 400 miles an hour, and his reaction time is 10 times faster than an Olympic athlete. That's according to the official handbook of the Invincible Universe, number 2. Oh God. So while Red Rush is faster than Omni-Man, the latter was able to react fast enough to grab Red Rush during one attack. And once again, he had his hands on Red Rush. It's a simple matter of Omni-Man simply crushed his skull and killing him. Okay, what is Red Rush's max speed? Apparently, it's only for God's sake, even A-Train is faster than that guy. And A-Train for speedsters is slow as hell. Okay, so Omni-Man isn't that fast. I mean, he's fast. Again, to be able to catch a 400 mile an hour, even accelerate from Ben 10 is faster than this guy. But I guess it's that whole speedster thing of perceiving the world slowly for that. And so, yeah, apparently Omni-Man is slow. Very slow. Okay, travel speed is different. Very much different. That's how he was able to ignite that whole planet's atmosphere. It's that he just kept building up velocity and kept going. But that is very different than combat speed. Even in a hypothetical where he built up a severe amount of velocity, Naruto already has faster than light reflexes. And it's even stated that he moves around light speed. And sorry, I had to just move that. Something was blocking the light. So, yeah, speed advantage goes to Naruto. I don't think there's any question on that. But now we get into the big thing here. Versatility in combat. And this, unfortunately, the only thing that Nolan actually has over Naruto is years worth of experience, which is a very big thing, especially when you have a high level of durability and vulnerability and strength. And he has the natural ability to fly. But Naruto literally has dozens upon dozens upon dozens of jutsus. He's got God knows how much of amount of chakra at his own disposal with his own natural reserves, plus Sage Mode, which allows him to have extrasensory perception of his area. C Chakra gives him the frog type, which wraps him in natural energy, enhances all of his other techniques, and then you add Kurama's chakra on there without even going into Baryon mode, and now you have a planet level threat with a nigh infinite amount of chakra for him to just fall back on. God knows how many forms of the Rasengan he can use, including all the elementally enhanced Rasengans, which that's something, I don't think we ever see him use in Boruto, apart from like Wind Release and stuff like that, is he should theoretically have access to all the elemental enhanced Rasengan, because he still has access to all the elements, as far as we know. Maybe not like, say, the Sage Mode stuff, but still wind, fire, earth, water, lightning, whatever. Maybe he just never got around to combining those elements into the Rasengan just because he got busy. And then, if you want to go even further past the chakra mode, we have the Baryon mode here, which is like the pinnacle, where they're basically burning each other's chakra. As they say, it's kind of like nuclear fission or nuclear reaction. And they're burning, each other's chakras out. And Kurama's was the one that basically he sacrificed his to save Naruto ultimately and gave his life. But in that mode, every strike shortened the opponent's lifespan. Every, Ishiki Otsutsuki realized after a while, like, I should have had like 12 hours, but I'm down to, or I can't remember exactly what it was, like 12 or something. He had a long time. Hold on, Baryon mode real quick. I'm going to see if I can find that statement. He had hours of time under his belt, and Naruto reduced it down to a half hour just by fighting with him for a few minutes. Let's see here. Kurama notes that's because the chakra is in contact with the opponent, will drain the lifespan as well. Surpass game allowing him to snatch you because he black rods out of air before they are visibly enlarged. Basically, he gets all the physical enhancements that he got prior. And let's see here. It doesn't. I can't find the quote about how much it. Let me go to Shiki's bio real quick here. I can't find the quote he said about how much time it shaved off of his lifespan. Let's see here. Kawaki. Let's see here. Barry. Where is Barry? Okay, Barry and Naruto. Naruto Ichigo. I hate when these ads happen. New form, which began pressuring and overwhelm him. Naruto allowed him to cover his life aspect draining. No, I can't find a statement. I know it was like in the double digits hours, and he was down to half hour just after a few minutes of fighting with Naruto. And then it just got drained even faster. He was down like only a couple minutes after a few more hits. So it is, but it comes at a cost, obviously. They're on a limited time. If it ended up taking Kuroma's life, more or less. In theory, you could activate this form intermittently, briefly, and possibly come out okay. But because they just ran it down to the wire, Kurama ended up giving his life. People still wonder if Kurama's going to be coming back or not. I would like to see Kurama come back. But right now, Naruto and Hinata, I think, are in like some sort of dimension or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so who would ultimately win in a fight? Well, it's actually very simple to figure out how this fight would go. It would be in the Boruto era. Nolan maybe would be in Naruto's world, on Naruto's Earth, trying to, do right by his people, let's say. And, conquer the planet. Ultimately, though, just as before, he tries to take out the people of this world, the defenders. This winds him in the Great Shinobi Nation, or the 5 Great Shinobi Nations, because we know there are other places beyond there. That's what the second Naruto movie's about, the Stone of Gello. And so Nolan, is Naruto, with Kurama still there, gets the sense of Nolan. He confronts him, and Nolan's like, I can tell you're a good person, but unfortunately you're in the way. I'll give you the one minor, what would be, not reprieve. I'll give you one condolence. I won't include the civilians in this. And Naruto's just staring, and he's like, fine, you pick the place. And they go and they get to the place, and and they're squaring off, and Nolan just comes in and rushes in towards Naruto, who is able to. Naruto tries to land a hit, but and he just hits, and it hurts his hand. Because Nolan would be telling you really think that's enough to. And then all of a sudden he hears the sound of the Rasengan light, just. And Nolan's backhands Naruto. He's like, like he was barely able to. Naruto's like, oh, holy crap, he's strong. And Nolan. So here's the big question: is about chakra versus a Viltrumite. We know that they're actually very vulnerable to solar plasma, aka like a star or a sun, but they need like constant exposure to it for it to really hurt them. But they can be hurt by other means. I think an energy attack like a Rasengan, which also grinds into you, would be among those. A weak Rasengan wouldn't really do anything, but a stronger one from, say, like a pro, like Naruto, could at least like do some mild damage. Like, that's an interesting attack you have there, Lord Hokage, but it's not really going to be enough. To which Naruto suddenly gets a Sage Mode again. It's like and Nolan's just like, he's fast. Naruto suddenly pulls the cape, just comes in and goes like, that's not gonna. And all of a sudden, Nolan's face starts to move before Naruto's face goes like, and they start going at it toe to toe for a little bit. And Naruto knows, like, I can't get, this guy's defenses are too, I don't know what this guy's made of, but, and Naruto, he nearly breaks one of Naruto's arms. Naruto goes flying back. Suddenly summons the shadow clones on Nolan, who just starts boom, boom, either not blitzing him, although he can still move pretty fast. Naruto's just faster in this case. And if Naruto's not prepared for the speed, that's another thing entirely. But he's ripping through the Naruto clones. They're throwing Rasengan. One throws a Rasen Shuriken. Nolan gets out of the way of this. And I think once you get to the Rasen Shuriken levels, you are now dealing with levels of attack that could legitimately hurt him. And he maybe gets like part of his like foot or something caught in there, and he's not musing, but he's mentally knows like that. Oh, that hurt my. I can't feel my foot. His foot's generally okay. Like he can still move it, but it's like just numb because of the blades of wind. All of a sudden, can tell there's a large level of power there, and there Naruto is in his Kurama cloak, turning into, and they go in again. Except now he's blitzing Nolan, and Nolan's like can't keep up with this speed. Omni Man just like he tries and finally manages to like predict where Naruto's gonna be. Just got you. And it's like yeah, because like, you're right. Yeah, you're right. All of a sudden, multiple chakra arms come out. It's like got you. It's just boom. Naruto gets blown back, goes into full Kurama mode. Nolan's now like, what the hell? He starts to kind of like build up some speed. Goes in for like a supercharged. It's like, and Naruto's like, Naruto and Kurama are things like, what the hell is he doing? Like, Brad, he's building up speed. You imbecile. If he builds up, he'll light the atmosphere on fire and roast the planet. It's like, what? Now, no one would be doing that because this is, not what he was there for. But if he had to, he would, and they start a different planet. So if he's feeling desperate enough, he's going to do it. So Naruto just, like, waiting for a time, and just uses Kurama's tails to just, as arms, just grabs him. And he's kind of pulling Naruto along. Still probably got the strength advantage. Just, Kurama, got it! And then just launch him in, then finally fire a tail beast ball. Right, and just hold him right there. It's like, take this, boom. It's like, breaks out and just takes the tail beast ball, point blank, just boom, blowing Nolan back. Nolan's getting up, and he's now like, he's now in pain. He is hurt, and he's hurt bad. It's like, well, I guess I have no choice then, don't I? And then Naruto's like, what the hell is he? And then just comes in, and cracks in. Bursts through Kurama's chakra construct. Luckily, Naruto's in the head of Kurama. It's like, what's this guy doing? Just start going he's going ham on these guys finally. And Naruto says, we gotta do it. Gotta do it. You're sure, Naruto? It comes on a risk. As long as we do it as long as we beat him before our time runs out, it won't matter. All right, very well then. And Naruto goes in the Baryon mode again. Speed, physicality, all enhanced beyond that. He can use a Rasengan, and they start duking it out even further. And he's just wailing into Nolan, Rasengan, tail, everything above, and Nolan just. And unfortunately, Naruto's like doing like almost like the not the Muhammad Ali, the Bruce Lee, just or the Donnie Yen, just and just boom. And Nolan is feeling that he's getting weaker, but he can't figure out why. Now, because they get stronger as they go over, you think this might actually work in reverse. He might start to get stronger and more rejuvenated, but the problem is that it's still running down his lifespan, and Naruto's just suddenly just wraps him, I think, in these tails and just blasts him with the strongest attack he can. And Nolan, who technically would be getting stronger, but is getting dealt serious damage at the same time here. He's not recovering. He's just getting older and growing stronger from the aging. But it's at the cost of that. He can finally tell us, like, he's aging me up. Like, he's taking years off my life. And Naruto, and he just finally Naruto, poof, has to put him down and deactivates the cloak before, or the form before Kurama is burnt to dust. So, obviously, went with Naruto in this one. Why is that? It really came down to several factors. One, while Naruto doesn't have a lot of physical advantages over Nolan in base, once you add even Sage Mode, for example, once you add Kurama's Chakra, Baryon Mode, Chakra, for all that, say 6-pass Chakra, then now he's reaching levels where he can actually compare to Nolan from what we've seen. But beyond that, though, Nolan, besides his physicality, doesn't have anything on Naruto. Naruto's even far faster than him, like light years faster than him, literally. Now, traveling speed is a different thing. We are talking about reaction speed. If we're talking about reaction speed, then, yeah, Red Rush being faster than Nolan at 400 miles an hour against someone who can move and react at light speed, that's bad. Like, it'd be amazing. I was being generous in terms of some of the hits he was getting on Naruto. It'd be very unlikely he could get a hit on Naruto, to be honest. So, yeah, and then you had the fact that Naruto has plenty of different Rasengan variants, Kurama's Chakra form, which is a weapon in and of itself, that he can rely on to do damage to Nolan. I actually feel like this is a loss for Nolan. I just don't think Omni Man actually would keep up with Naruto in the long run. He'd have the edge in the beginning of the fight, no doubt about it. If Naruto isn't careful, he could get his head taken off. And there is a scenario where that happens. But I think because Naruto also has decades worth of combat experience under his belt at this point, Even though Nolan has a lot more, still, that's nothing to sniff at. I think between him and Kuroma's ability to sense malintent, that he's going to be able to keep up with Nolan long enough to go into his stronger forms, his stronger abilities, modes, what have you, and win the day. So ultimately, I would probably go with Naruto in this fight. This is just my opinion, however. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.